Hello everyone, welcome to the Cardiff City Stadium, welcome to the lawnmowers in full action, and if you see down there, Daniel Farke completing his press duties with the club media team. What a win that is today. Norwich won 2-1 here in Cardiff. They were 2-0 up at half time, and they were very good in the first half. In fact, they probably should have been better in the final third because they created some wonderful moments. They got themselves ahead through a goal from a corner. Yeah, you're right. Through Grant Hanley. I think it had to be within 2 yards for him to actually manage to hit it on the target. And I think even he made that joke himself to me a few minutes ago. First goal Norwich scored from a corner, I think, since Manchester City at home in September 2019. So that's obviously a fair while ago. They got themselves 2 up then with a brilliant team goal. You know, playing it, starting with Dan Barden at the back, building up, but it was the way Cardiff pressed them and Norwich managed to turn them around really quickly. Great burst through the middle from Grant Hanley, set Kenny McLean away, and in the end Jordan Hugill, who was starting in place of Teemu Pukki, probably should have scored. It was a good save by Alex Smithies, but Todd Cantwell was on hand to siphon the rebound home, and Norwich were well deserving of that lead at half time. The second half was harder. I would say Norwich still had some wonderful opportunities on the break. They still played through Cardiff's press, and in fairness, Cardiff kept pressing as well. They kept pushing, and when they brought on Kiefer Moore, who's been out injured with a hamstring strain for a number of weeks, there was a bit of discussion whether he would actually come on or not in the second half, but he did come on and he made a huge difference. I mean, the guy is a man mounted. He's almost like Peter Crouch used to be as a player height-wise, but also just so much stronger. I don't know if he's as good as Crouchy was with his feet, but just really robust. And I thought, you know, he made life very difficult. And I think Norwich can be grateful that they have had to play fewer than 45 minutes with Kiefer Moore in this Cardiff side, because I was a bit fearful of what Cardiff would do with both Wilson and Junior Hoylett in the side. Junior Hoylett tends to do quite well against Norwich, but as I said, Norwich circumvented that very well in the first half and actually had more to deal with, really, with Kiefer Moore. Fair play to Dan Barden, who again was in goal today. I thought Norwich defensively protected him well, because there were some moments where you could see his rawness, and there was a spell in the second half where they had a few set pieces, but I had to remind myself it was 2-1 because I thought, is it 3-1? No, because there was almost this air of comfort around it, which probably came from the red card in the second half when Marlon Pack was sent off for a second yellow, which was remarkably predictable given he just kept flying in with challenges and had already been booked. So no arguments really with that. Stupid challenge, second one especially. So there were elements where Norwich probably felt more comfortable than they were, and I felt they were more comfortable than they probably were. And there was a real barrage in the second half, but Norwich really did protect him well. They defended well in front of him. Ollie Skip played very well. I thought both centre-backs did well. Power from the goal in the second half, which seemed a bit needless to concede. It was a nice finish from Joe Rawls, side-footed inside the far post. I've not seen any of this back, by the way. Norwich rode it out, and this ending off probably helped. And certainly the timing of it. Cardiff had just got back to 2-1. You just wondered if this was going to cause Norwich a few more issues, and then Cardiff get a man sent off and just tip the balance back into Norwich's favour, which I think was ideal, really. What position Norwich are in at the moment? 2 defeats in 21 league games, I think. 15 wins. They have reached the 50 points mark right now. Bournemouth lost at home to Luton, I think. Watford won, and Swansea play in a bit. But ultimately, Norwich at the moment, you have to say, are probably in a race with themselves. You know, the more points they can get on the board, the better their PPG rating, and the better chance they have of getting promoted. We're halfway through the season as it is. If it all gets, we don't know where we are and how things are going to transpire over the coming weeks. Norwich are doing a great job of pushing themselves over the line. When you consider they've had 9 positive COVID tests in the last 7-8 days. 4 of those are players who couldn't feature, including their goalkeeper and Tim Krul. And they've also got 4 injuries, and they were missing Teemu Pukki today, who had a slight side strain has been described. It sounds like a slightly rare injury. There's a hope he might be available for Bristol City on Wednesday night, but it's not guaranteed. And shout out for Jordan Hugill today, because he worked really hard, put himself about. I actually thought that was probably his best performance in the Norwich shirt today. He made a real contribution. there are still areas to work on, and it still feels like there's not a rhythm there. But again, Grant Hanley said he probably deserved a goal on what he gave today, and I wouldn't disagree. But actually, and this is probably the striker cliche sometimes when they're not scoring, but Jordan did enough today to contribute to Norwich's victory. It doesn't really matter that the goals came from somewhere else. He played a role in it, and Norwich won it. So what more can you really ask for? Shout out also as well, Jacob Sorensen put in a great clearing header, I think, in the second half, which I thought was impressive. Just given how robust and everything that Cardiff threw at Norwich today, I think that's a very impressive win. I've seen a lot of people going on about how bang average Cardiff were. I think you have to appreciate that comes from Norwich playing so well, that Norwich are at a level where they can do that. And fair play to Cardiff because they kept going, and they are. I'm afraid they are better than an average. I know they maybe didn't play at their best, but again, it's two teams on the pitch, and I think Norwich in both games have showed that they're a class apart. And actually, I think a few of you on social media were saying how the BBC Wales commentary team were being a little bit biased and all this sort of stuff. I think it was them, but I think I heard them say at half time, just behind me, that the first half was a bit like watching a Premier League team against a League One team. So regardless of what they were saying on the radio, that's what I heard them say off it. So there we go. Bristol City, we move on to that on Wednesday, which is exciting. 6 p.m. kickoff, so don't miss that. I did almanar about whether to be here today, as I said on my social media posts, but I have been socially distant and in a very safe environment in terms of at a football match. I think there's fewer safer places to be really in terms of amber zones at a football stadium during a game, and the rest of the time I've been sat in my car. So I think in terms of whether it's safe or not, that's obviously everyone can make their own decisions on that, and I do take the social responsibility of it all very seriously, but in my mind, in terms of safety, it seems it's about as safe as a thing as I could do, especially when my wife's going to school 2 days a week. So there we go. But it was nice to be able to see that and to see Norwich do that and to be able to take it in properly, because there was a lot to be encouraged by what Norwich did today, given where everything is at. We'll see how the rest of the week pans out. Maybe Tim Krul will be available for Bristol City. We don't know. We know that they are trying to sign Dimitrios Giannoulis. I haven't decided or found out yet, one or the other. That's being worked away on in the background, and that's probably where we are really. We'll see where we get what we get on Carrow Road on Wednesday night. I think I covered the red card, didn't I? It was very clever from Ollie Skip that he managed to sort of draw Marlon back into that tackle. Norwich only had 7 players on the bench today, so that's sort of a return to where we are. And even Emi Buendia was apparently feeling slightly under the weather before kick-off, as in a sort of a bug that's going around. So they are obviously COVID testing. Josh Martin missed today, Lucas Root missed today as well through not feeling very well, but testing COVID negative, so they're assuming it's like a bug or flu or whichever. So likewise, Emi wasn't feeling too great either, but he did all right. Had one little tweak of his knee in the second half, which I was a bit worried about, but he kept running, so hopefully we don't hear anything about that anymore in future either. And I'm sure he's not going anywhere either. Great win, great time. Hope you're all staying safe and well. Wherever you're watching, I appreciate it and your time. Follow, subscribe, send a message, ask a question, whichever. I try and read as many comments and questions as possible, and I'll do my best to answer them. And keep an eye on The Athletic this week for some stellar Norwich City content. I'm working on some absolute beauties at the moment, and they will be with you as soon as I can finish them and as soon as they're ready to go. Thanks all. In the meantime, take care, stay safe. See you soon. Top of the league.